John, or as they call him, JT. So JT, now we look at this because as an independent-minded people, most of we know, and also we not get too much stake into this political issue we go on. But what are you on take about this election and all the way to this process we don't come to we didn't call it presidency day? What are you on take generally about what happened? So
And today, ECSL don't declare President Bill as the next president for in second term. My own statement today what I make was congratulations to President Bill. Of course, there are so much things something and they were not go like about the election, plenty things they were not go like about the election. But as an individual, that not important. Now waiting INEC say now, ECSL say now we go with. And so waiting I be say was I congratulate President Bill and I think say if I use this time for unify we as a country, for sure we divided. And as a president, you know, we will rule a divided nation. So in first job, we very, very big. With some people they even ask if he go able. Now for let unite that country there. Then the second job in government where they form, let him make inclusive. Maybe if we making government inclusive, then they go help for bridge that divide there. Then they go make the other people there on the other side feel say they are part of the governance. And that's so it for be actually because that country they too small. You know, everybody start being in company, government. Then secondly, if I make sure say it deliver. Because even if you get inclusive government, if the ordinary person they are not they feel say government different, then it cause disgruntled. And Salon, we don't go through so much. We don't get war. And then war and they just kind of more it begins somewhere, It begins somewhere. People them they disgruntled, we people there with them they lead, with government there with them they lead, and nobody pay attention to them and they take a cow problem. So now that this president don't be swearing today, waiting will appeal to her and for let bring the people together and make sure say it rule for everybody.
quick, because JT talk about some things same way, talk about ruling and going forward and stuff, but I don't say conventional wisdom will tell you say the opposition not say nothing right now. You think say the opposition will accept this result, and if you not accept the result, what if it's going to be the next step for the opposition going forward? Because we know say it's not going to be one and done today. There's more coming way. Plenty people they in disarray right now. They don't understand. Like then they don't believe. The community was done the last few me coming feel so they're going to run off. So and when they watch the results, and they feel say the one of me imminent until even the 60% come and look at the 60% and say no, there's the still possibility to say they're going to run off for the second round. And this morning it was a shocker for some of we when we see this results here come. And I believe say where I go on social media today, most of the supporters for the opposition and the APC, but couldn't able to say much at all because like they get a serious shock. So I ask you, what do you feel say go happen? They go on right now, and what do you go anticipate will happen next?
Thank you. Yeah, I will be too brave for can say anything about whether the opposition go agree to this or not. Yes, but anyhow, based on waiting with the scene of social media, opposition they don't make a clear say they're not going to accept the result. You see, so in the process of when they say they're not going to accept result, they go quick and go swear mother, they read the result and go they swear mother. Is it so just make people they vex and upset all the more? You get me? Because when you look at it, really, problems there. Not so ways about it. Problems there with the elections. The figures, the way the figures were computed and within the observers they get, within the market. You see, so there's a problem. You see, so it's like then treat the people there with disrespect in the sense that the people then, the voters then, win and then get a country, win and then go vote. You see, I think they treat them not all because obviously they not treat the the SLPP then supporters them with disrespect because they all get post cover anyway. So they are not disrespected in any way. Is it but like the other grassroots people them we don't understand. I think they feel very bitter and angry, you see, and things because even so we say we were confused with some of these figures. You know, they give me the figures, they sound like we don't go school. So then you look at it, you begin to wonder, but how this man arrived, how we get to that figure there so and so, you know, they give so and so, you see. But you see, so far from within we see the social media, the opposition they're not go agree because they're not expressing concern over the whole thing. But then again, you only
We don't know exactly what will be the next step. But the constitution give about 7 days to them parties and they or anybody, any salon person, whether the APC or SLPP, go able contest that result day at the Supreme Court. The question will be whether the Supreme Court will able even hear that appeal or whether they will even rule on it. Until we know with justice system, so we're not able to answer that pattern. But the constitution make that provision there for like, any salon policy. Not need for be APC or SLPP able object that in it. The last election, even Dr. Blyden do some objection there. I don't know if in case they had or they make any ruling on that. I think they make ruling on some, but we don't know how this go happen. By tomorrow or next tomorrow, we will hear people that we don't make appeal to the Supreme Court also.
Peter Conte in move not surprise me. He only do a decent thing with any decent people they can do. But in this situation, the way how all these things happen, it's not easy for let people then just go no more. Say go issue such a statement. You see, because people they vex, people they angry, and everybody see what can happen. So it's not like people are making it up in stories, you see. So after Peter Conte not surprise me. You see, because just like where you say, if you don't get challenges then at the party. And in after Peter Conte would have rather take the party go into the elections. And if that was not forthcoming, then we would rather see the party in this state where it is.
Just quick, as somebody where it gets a legal background. Now we only anticipate the APC probably going to take this court to the car way and JT just tell we see then get 7 days for appeal Supreme Court. And we all know how the system works in Sierra Leone. In most cases, like other countries, they will not say sometimes even when they sworn you in, that's a possibility they can reverse them. In Sierra Leone, most people right now don't see able to talk because they know see that the possibility and the tendency for making that reverse is very, very slim due to the kind of court we get. You as a legal person, and this we don't talk about even the social media review with Mr. Shillon and also Mr. Mengo, then don't work much so many times on the court system in Sierra Leone. And we all know say anytime we would have in a power. Now you the judge and the dance too. Waiting that you don't take where you feel say if they go to court, because which we all anticipate say the court probably go for throw the case out or say they don't see nothing wrong, then they go with waiting the electoral commissioner say the president get the votes and they move on. Waiting you go feel say go happen next after that point. As a legal person.
Should that happen, it almost surprise me. Because the court then would deal with. You see, one thing about the court, this is why some of we always say we get for work on the independence of this judiciary. We always say I always support that. You see, we get for work and we don't want politicians to be involved with the courts, with judges then, with lawyers then, with court officials then. We don't want politicians then for involved with them. It's a time, but let me get a separate body. We're in the deal with the police. Now in the deal with the courts and all those things. Like a separate body not get nothing to do with ministers and independent minds and all that. Because can you imagine if the president don't appoint the Chief Justice and Chief Justice self guess whether them they appoint or go there. Everybody want to go up. Or the one that we don't go up now, therefore they dance to interview tune and all that, you see. Sometimes they are likely to listen to the president. The president, I'm using the president, not Madabia in particular, you understand? I mean the president, because we don't know the president in other situation, the Yanis you know, in terms of Samsumana in case and all that, you see. So at least, you see, I'm not picking on President Bill, you see. But they can appeal. But how can we be so sure, say, they will get fair trial? Now, when I say trial, in fact, not just interpretation, you get me. But the good thing about interpretation is not black and white. Now we see either na so the constitution say not to so it say, or the drafters of the legislation that they mean or not to that they mean. You get me, eh? You see, but we don't see plenty time where politics they go inside. Then you can see judges and they make decisions the way they say, oh my Jesus, how could they make such a decision like the time of Samsumana in case?
This is where we some of you don't see that platform here. They talk over and over and over when it comes to Parliament, because we all go talk about the judges all we want. What judges and they use for work with Parliament get for the government and give them for make them a law saying that it's not work with. Then get for make things and work, and APC been get a good number in Parliament as well. And some of them things here they talk about too we don't see they come along there. So waiting that you don't think about the APC parliamentarians then, where they may vote in most cases along the SFP, in some of these cases, even to Kane and so many election things that need to come up before. People when they get concerned, APC may still they continue for votes on their line and day. And sometimes they even tell the supporters and say no participate, so they know say at the end of the day, the ruling party, or we know as Sierra Leone, always gets the backing of everybody else. So if you not go there, you get for loss. Now one man cap all. So what thing you don't think about the parliament, most especially the APC parliamentarian involvement in waiting how they cost the work today in them not fixing some of these laws ahead of them elections here.
We problem is so big, right? What make the problem more big is the presidency gets so much power. It gets so much power. So because of the presidency in power, it's so much that it becomes difficult for the parliament or even the judiciary for exist the way we them for exist. Even though the constitution make them equal branches of government. And waiting happened at the last parliament, it make it difficult for the opposition. When I remember some them get for kick them out of parliament. And after the election, they were actually in the majority. But when they kick some of them out of parliament, then literally fall in the minority. So it become very difficult for them. The only side where I go see I will be vexed by the opposition was them be the vex where SLPP be they do them to them. But when it becomes to certain issues then, well, like when are issues that we relate to their own well-being, they are voting with them. I think say no more than since then we don't begin protest in terms of the beginning how they treat them, therefore be always continue for protest, even when it comes to issues that we deal with them. But they not do that. Now so then pass a lot of bills and so then do amendments and so then do anti-corruption act amendment and so then do election law amendment. Now so then do all of them things in there. A lot of the things in the way them we pass in parliament, APC as an opposition not be really agree to, but they just do not have the power, you know. They just do not have the power. So it's difficult for them. I don't blame them too much. And some man go say, oh, well, they'll not be protest, they'll not be do that. But we see some of them protest and then kick them out of parliament. You see where they arrest them, then do a lot of stuff then to them. Some man, they even say,
but you feel say that you feel say them form of protest with the APC may do for walk away or boycott. We don't see them try and with the people and where they mean take out of parliament, where they may say before the election they may take money, where they end up for putting people in. Even if you see the boycott me the work in terms of the own protest or they may supposed to implement something.
Well, some parts of the protest be the work. Remember, there was a time when ECOWAS began for coming and do negotiation with it, right? After that, I don't know what happened again. Then stop for do them protesting, you know. So, but they were really powerless. There was not much they can do. They may not exhaust everything in their toolbox, you know. And I think back then we get leadership before on APC side also in the parliament. Then they affecting so. And they affecting. And SLPP outsmarting in a lot of ways in the parliament.
The MP in the parliament.
Yeah, the
They
APC MPs.
contribute a lot. APC MPs in the parliament then contribute a lot to waiting they happen. They contribute a lot, you see, because okay, they can come and tell we say, oh, we need a certain number of majority or a number for cast the votes for vote and this and that to get me. But I'm telling you, plenty of them sell game. Some people don't like the word sell game, but it's sell game because when you say sell game, we not see them within the sell the game. But the actions then, you don't have to see these games being played or being paid for, you see, but now the actions, you see, because there is no way the SLPP for we do anything at parliament without the opposition not support them. I not believe that. Opposition must support them. You see, because something in the when they come on and when thinking don't come, they not they even tell the people, they inform the people there. Now different things they tell the people they say. And then when after a while, when the thing exposed now, because it's just like
the APC decided to go court because they feel to say there was some kind of electoral fraud, whether there's a possibility or a likelihood for me to overturn the decision for make da. Anyway, I just want to go straight to that, through that to say that it's not just Sierra Leone based issue. I think it's across. If you look at, let us go straight to Donald Trump 2020, right? If you remember, you remember with Donald Trump came in power, they've been challenged certain things by irregularities in the electoral process, and what happened there? As advanced as America is, if you want to talk about the judiciary being independent, we will say America will get, that kind of a possibility, yes, to say the judiciary is independent and there's no interference. So if you come to Ghana, we saw in Ghana about 10 years ago or 11 years ago, John Mahama, the government of John Mahama, it was an interesting case. Usai, the government, the sitting government at the time, President Mahama, they been together and go court because they didn't believe there were irregularities, and that case went on for like 3 months, 6 months, and finally, what was the result? The case was thrown out, and that was that. So this question, they'll come back now to the situation in Sierra Leone. What do they look at from all what they don't put out? Data analysts them and the people who want to understand electoral mathematics and this and that and the other. And again, the PR system, I think to say, being the first time where they practice in Sierra Leone, if they take this case go court, say, they feel that there was some kind of electoral fraud, I think there's going to be a problem, because and from all waiting they don't analyze, there doesn't seem to be any kind of fraud that went on in there. So I think to say the thing is, for me, before APC for wasting time and begin looking to electoral fraud when there wasn't any, that is my own understanding. I mean, I'm not speaking for anybody, but I'm just saying that I think to say within the APC need for do now, now for try for look into themselves and try to work with the government, because I tell you what, Mr. Tarawali, in the last 5 years, there be so many things that were happening in that country today, and that going forward now, we really want the APC government for work with the incumbent government, APC party, for work with the incumbent government, for make sure, say, governance will go on smoothly. Then all the half of tell me they happen when they accuse certain people and say, and then they behind the scenes, and then they give you instructions and this and that and the other, and something JT said just now of Parliament and the Judiciary. I mean, we have to understand here, though. Yes, Parliament makes laws and no institution, no get right to ask Parliament. You can't allow the way they make unless it is unconstitutional. I mean, they say go against the will of the people, or it discriminates against the people. I want to understand, as far as it is now, I feel the Salon Judiciary, with Babatunde Edwards being the head of that judiciary, I think they are doing a lot. I think they are doing a lot. And
somebody could argue on the other side, say you said there wasn't any irregularity to do the elections, but we know there was so many delays about where ECSL do inside Frito or we know say APC is strong over. We know say plenty people in terms of the registration we come up we have been doing because of the census, and people then reject the census because they make preference for every 10 years. And if SFP then finance them bulldoze them way through and say, well, we do the census, make people boycott and say we don't do the census. But again, people then don't register from the previous elections with them voter ID card. Means them is still active. They not allow them for votes, and then we talk about what they wasn't here happen inside Frito. They lose 80% stronghold. They not care ballot boxes them on time. Then finance them for stuff some things. And so you can say that wasn't any regularity, but then we talk that was a willful act from the ECSL for slow down the voting system in Freetown. So what you go say about that?
Well, you know what, that claim about ECSL being one for delayed voting, I think anybody with ECSL alone know how the process is in Uganda. There are things that are slow. We really get to have to be realistic about these things. I mean, I hear one observer, I read some always say they were slow across the board. It is just because I think the structure there wasn't. I'm not gonna blame them because this is something that's been going on for a little while now. It's just because this particular time things didn't work out maybe the way the ECSL been planning for make sure say polling stations are open on time, people go vote and stuff like that. But I know say that they extend the time up to 10 p.m. So that is reasonable. That is reasonable. And I think the ECSL itself will willingly want for behave in a way where they go against their own policy. They have laws and they have policies. They will not be working in that manner. They have to stay neutral. So if somebody they say, the ECSL behave this way because they want to give advantage to the SLPP, I would say that is not a fair comment. Because the same people where they go to go vote, you may have some SLPP people Look like a place like Falaba. It's not a stronghold of the SLPP. It was an APC hot ground. But those people voted purely and squarely for the SLPP. So that claimed it to me. It could be a little bit, it could be hard to understand. I would say yes, they were not on time. They wasted time because certain structures did not fall into place. I'm not going to say they were careless or they were reckless. I wouldn't want to describe them like that. I'm just saying they were fraught with difficulties.
To you first. What's
well,
we can say so many things right now. I know so plenty people then get a different thing about what you don't say.
Right. Auntie Janet make important point and some of them be really good, especially this time there. But it make reference to Ghana, say, Ghana, the cases stayed and then threw them out. Kenya, then get for reconduct the election. So there have been precedent of other places where they call for conduct the election again. Okay. In terms of ECSL, they get their own lab system. And most of the lab system, it comes as a result of the neighbor who explain the situations then to the people then. Because one thing about electioneering, if you explain the thing to the parties then, they understand. You explain the thing to the citizens then, they understand. When they do the real process, it become easy. Normally they say walk through. And no say the political parties then go through a walkthrough. But how many people in them political parties and we are actually called to go do the walkthrough? Maybe APC will get 2%, SLPP will get 2%. Then two people then they go watch the process, go through the walkthrough, and come for explain to their own party leaders then. Them party leaders they're not able to explain anything to the membership. And I don't think say ECL self then do more for sensitize the people then. And yesterday I listened Corner where he say Wusa he makes statement say in 48 hours ago announce the result. He says something like this because APC they say let them project the tabulation, right? It says something like this. They're not going to tabulate the result because they get different data entry people then. So if they say they want project, it will be very difficult. Then they project in previous election because now be just one data, now be just one election and now just one data entry person. So then cable project that one day. That explanation makes sense somehow, but to the ordinary people then, they make sense until you can explain that to them. And then they count everything. Where they don't count, then put it on the RF sheet, they're all signer. Where they don't sign up, ABC agent, SLPP agent, then just take a picture or write the number, send out them party offices then, And if then deploy agents and all of them police stations and the APC and SLPP for don't know the results before Sunday night, So, like yesterday, I posted on my Facebook wall. I say APC and SLPP just played the blame game. I said then just not honest to the people then because they already know the results, But the ECSL win an independent body, therefore they try for explain more so ordinary people then for understand the process.
Okay.
That's the case.
So I bring Antikadi quick. You can also we get a call on the line, but I get Antikadi tomorrow. We can also say may not go lost in thoughts before I bring the caller then mean. So Antikadi go ahead. What's you thought about? We can also there was so many said.
Yeah, because waiting at around this 10 p.m. that was considered to be reasonable. Yeah. Reasonable depends on how you take them, within you they consider. We want to determine whether something is reasonable or not. If the polling agents, the officer, on one occasion, they're not candidates 6 in the evening. So how could voting from 6 to 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock be reasonable when others have had the polling station open, I think, from 7 o'clock or 8? You get me? You see?
Yeah.
So the 10 p.m. is only for those people where we don't day na line right through, we don't day before 5 o'clock. But even then, some people we don't go there, they not then like you say 5 o'clock, then come out no more say, so until I go use the toilet or I go buy a drink, then come, then miss the 5 o'clock, they're not able to enter. So those people, they're not able to vote. You get me? You see? Why they not get, why the police stations, they're not for open on time? Why the police stations, therefore, they say, okay, I do understand that they say they get hard to reach areas, like, you see, but shouldn't they have considered that? These hard to reach areas, you see. Waiting calls all that when I get hard to reach areas, then when we don't even involve local people then within the place, you see. So then go join the other one the way they come, you see, for organizer. You see, so the whole thing it look. I don't see how people are saying that people cannot condemn a few things that happen. You see, it not happen well. You get then. In fact, which reminds me, I came across something we came to say. They talked about local.
Yeah.
Then get a form. Then supposed for certify a document. Yeah. They never certified that document. So in effect, but local count was not included. But when Conego go announce the 60%, the 60-40 thing, they were included. You see, so how would I go say that? You cannot. The people they not even know, they're not confirmed, not nothing, will not get them. How can they go explain something we not can at your desk? You see, you not can at your desk because if they been confirmed, it will can at your desk. You not confirm and then you still include them. You see, so these are the little things that where they create the problem, we make people they get out. You understand? And See, oh, you remember something about when the registration? Yeah, yeah, that's a point. Yeah, registration, people they're not being registered. Yeah, but the other side of it now we make this non-registration of old water now because then we don't relax them. They say that whether you've been registered or not, correct me if I'm wrong here. You see, my understanding was whether you've been unregistered or not, once you candidate, then go make you vote. You're not the union. That was what I had. You see, they make
If you
you
get
vote.
a voter's ID card from the previous and you didn't change address, your name was still on the list because they just try to update the list. So it was
Yes,
supposed
you know,
to
for them at the
be functional.
yes, but
Yes.
some people they get difficulties because when they go, then they tell you, see, well, wait, you see, we'll get or this and that, and then you see, then in the end.